Yo, what's up guys and welcome back to Triad Nation. As always, I'm your host, the omegatryhard, and today we are starting another new series. However, I don't quite have a name for this one yet. Um, but it's going to be about Quicksilver, so let's just go ahead and roll that intro. So before I get into the actual video, just a couple quick shoutouts that I wanted to do. The first shoutout would be to my Discord. The link is going to be in the description. I really want to try and push people to join the Discord because for starters, that's the easiest way to reach me if you have questions or anything like that. As well as I just really want to try and make the community grow, have us, start to help each other, recognize maybe some smaller YouTubers, and just kind of grow together, both in the game and personally on YouTube, whatever it is that you're trying to grow. I really just want to create that community, as well as what I think most people care more about is going to be the giveaways. That's going to be the platform that I do all of my giveaways on. Um, I know for sure I'm going to be doing one at 500 and 1,000, but 1,000 is going to be big and it's going to be a very, very long time away, so I'm not worried about that. Still not 100% sure if I'm going to do something at 300, but we'll see. But yeah, if you don't join the Discord, you can't enter the giveaways because that's how I'm going to do all of that. The second shout out is going to be to Slayer of Gods. I'm going to put his YouTube channel link in the description box below. Super cool videos. His videos are very short a lot of the times, very just highlighting very specific things, and a lot of them are really freaking funny. Um, yeah, he had a community poll posted on YouTube a couple days ago that was kind of just like a flashback to a tweet that he did a while ago about champions that he wanted to see in the game, and it reminded me that I had this list that I had created a long time ago about champions that I wanted to see in the game, and if they did enter the game, what their abilities and stuff like that would be like. And I had 2 out of the 5 champions that were on his list, so I figured, you know what, now's a better time than ever to go ahead and make that list, because I think there's a community poll that some of these champions might be on there. I haven't actually looked at it, but yeah, thank you, Slayer, for supporting the channel, for giving me the idea. And yeah, let's go ahead and just jump into the video. So it's going to be kind of sectioned up into a quick biography about who they are, um, what their powers are, their signature ability, how their base kit works, and then synergies. I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. This is like the 12th time that I'm recording this, and each time it seems to get longer. So I'm really going to try and smush it down into something a lot more easily digestible. And now I'm going to shut up. So Quicksilver, who is Quicksilver? He is the twin brother of Wanda Maximoff, and his name is Pietro Maximoff. If you don't know who Wanda Maximoff is, that is Scarlet Witch, and both of them are children of Magneto, which means that their lineage is very, very powerful. Um, yeah, they have a really cool, really complex history. They actually started as bad guys because I think they were recruited slash coerced into the Brotherhood of Mutants by Magneto. Eventually, he ends up marrying Crystal, who is kind of a inhuman avatar from Avatar Last Airbender. He can control air, or she can control air, fire, water, and earth, and kind of all the different things that that incorporates. So because she can control earth, she can kind of control like magnetic poles and metals and stuff like that, because ultimately it's all created from earth. But yeah, super cool character. Now what his abilities are is he is fast as fuck.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am. I'm fast as fuck, boy.
um, which sounds like a really lame ability, very plain ability, but you can really get crazy with it and do a lot of different things if the right person is writing the comic or story or whatever it is. So that's who Quicksilver is. Now, when I think about mutants, because he is a mutant, and their role in MCOC, right? A lot of their abilities factor in high special attack damage, and typically in the form of prowess. Uh, there's a couple other things that are fairly consistent between a lot of the different characters, but the big focus is prowess and high special attack damage. When I factor that niche of mutants in the game to what Quicksilver is and what speedsters are and how their abilities work, I think of something that's very overwhelming, that can do a lot of different things, but you have to really gain that speed, gain that momentum, and build yourself up to being super insane. So what that gave me is the idea of making a mutant version of Aegon, but instead of doing high crit damage, high critical rating, and shrugging off debuffs, similar to the way that skill champions work, I'm going to incorporate mutant abilities into his combo meter. So before we get directly into that, I'm going to start with his signature ability. Now, what his signature ability is in my head is called Double Time. Now, what this means is that all of his hits are going to do an additional hit, dealing a percent of the initial hit's damage based on signature level. So at signature 1, meaning you just use an awakening gem on him, just got him from a basic arena, whatever the case is, he's single sig level. So what that is going to do is every hit is going to deal one additional hit in the form of a burst of energy damage, which is the red damage that you see in the background from like magic, and very similar to the way that Hercules' ability work. At Sig 1, it's going to every hit is going to do an additional hit equal to 75% of the initial hit. So what that means is if I hit you one time for 100 damage at Sig level 1, I'm going to do an additional burst of damage dealing 75 damage, because 75 is 75% of 100, totaling 175 damage from that one hit. Now, at Sig 200, every hit is going to hit 2 additional times, and it is going to be equal, each hit is going to be equal to 100% of the initial damage. So if I hit you with a 100 100 health attack at Sig 200, I'm going to do 2 additional hits, each doing 100%, because 100 is, each dealing 100 bonus damage, because 100 is 100% of 100, dealing a total of 300 damage. That sounds really complicated, but it's not, I promise. I'm just bad at wording this. So that is how his signature ability works, and I believe that it's fairly well balanced, because Hercules, it's basically what his ability does, but slightly weaker or slightly stronger, and yeah, I don't know. It doesn't seem too overpowered in my opinion, but if you really wanted it to, you could just make it do 1 additional hit and then just scale that damage to whatever. But it's a signature ability that is really strong, but it's not needed, and a signature ability that scales very well the higher that you get in signature ability. So it makes it so that signature stones and pulling him multiple times doesn't feel so bad, because you really want him at that max sig. Now, like I said, he's kind of going to be a mutant Aegon. So what that looks like is he's going to have something called momentum, which is his version of persistent charges. So it says, at the end of the fight, Quicksilver takes his momentum into the next fight, allowing him to add persistent charges equal to his combo meter to adding... Wait, what? Did I read that right? Sorry. At the end of the fight, Quicksilver takes his momentum into the next fight, allowing him to add persistent charges equal to his combo meter at the end of each fight. So if I end the fight with 100 hits in my combo meter, that's going to convert into 100 persistent charges or 100 momentum charges. Again, works the exact same way that Aegon's works, and it's going to have 5 different benefits to it, or 5 different effects that you get as you build up those charges. So the first one and the most important one is going to be at 25 charges. Quicksilver is going to gain an indefinite passive prowess that gives you 1% special attack damage per momentum charge. So if you have 100 momentum charges, you're going to have an indefinite passive prowess for 100 bonus special attack damage, which can't be nullified, can't be dealt with. It doesn't get consumed, anything like that. It's just permanent. The reason that, well, I'll explain that in a little bit. At 100 charges, it's going to Quicksilver gains an unstoppable buff lasting 5 seconds when charging a heavy attack. My thought process behind this is, you know, he's starting to go so fast that you can't really stop him. Just logically, that's how it works. Similar-ish to Aegon, where he gets the unstoppable and the combo shield in his heavy attack, but not quite as powerful. At 200 charges, Quicksilver becomes immune to Root, Slow, and Wither. Again, just logically, what this would do is it would give him a large amount of utility in the game that is very unique, because no character is immune to any of these debuffs, which would again give him a very unique, very powerful piece of utility for the future of the game. As well as just logically, he's moving so fast, he's a speedster, so the faster that he goes, the more momentum that he gains. He can't be rooted because he's moving too fast, he can't be slowed because he's moving too fast, and his metabolism and stuff like that doesn't let his powers wither away, or however you want to word that. I think it makes logically sense. It's not super overpowered, and it's still a huge piece of utility in his kit. At 350 charges, which is where it starts to get pretty powerful, Quicksilver gains an energized buff, increasing offensive combat power rate by 75% after launching a special attack. Now that 75% seems a little bit high. That can definitely be tweaked down to 25% or 50%, but it was just an idea. So what this would allow him to do would utilize that passive prowess that he has from having at least 25 charges to really throw a lot more specials and do a lot more damage. At 500 charges, which is the final charge, or the final charge benefit, would be Quicksilver special attacks are unblockable and reduce opponent's ability accuracy by 100%. Seems really self-explanatory. This is his final charge. This is him ramping up completely, and what this will do is make it so that he can throw his special attacks just wildly, know that they're going to be unblockable, and they're going to reduce the opponent's ability accuracy, so they can't be auto blocked, they can't be evaded, they can't miss, all of that kind of stuff. It's just, you can throw the special attacks without having to worry. And I think that's a very good, very balanced benefit of having your character fully ramped up. Now his basic mechanics are going to be, he's not going to take any reflective damage while basic attacking. So very similar to the way that I believe Gambit's works, where as long as he's hitting into the opponent, he doesn't take recoil damage in the form of like Korg's Rock Shield or Electro's Electrostatic. It's a fairly common thing between mutant characters. I want to say there's like 2 or 3 more that have that same ability. I just can't remember who they are for the life of me right now. He's also just going to flat out be immune to fatigue and concussion, just because, again, it'll add some unique utility to this character, because no character is immune to, well, actually, I guess Emma Frost is immune to fatigue and concussion. I think there's only 2 in the form of Apocalypse and whatchamacallit, Emma Frost again. And his buffs are going to be paused during special attacks. Now, the reason that I did this is because, as somebody who's played the game, there's a lot of characters that their special attacks and their kits give them really powerful bonuses, or really powerful buffs, I should say. However, it feels really bad when You get those buffs, and then you have to start baiting specials, or the enemy starts playing very defensive or something like that, and those buffs just waste away. Maybe because the special attack animations take too long, or whatever the case is. Maybe you get hit. Having those buffs get paused during special attacks really just helps him keep that momentum and keep the fight going longer and longer. So that's the only base mechanics that he has on a base level for a completely unramped. Special 1 is going to give him a 10-second combo shield. Again, that 10 seconds could be lowered, it could be increased depending on what it is that you want. I just wanted him to have a consistent way to protect his combo shield, but not completely free in the form of like doing just a heavy attack or something like that. His special 2 is going to increase his critical rating during his special attacks. The number that I have here is 2000, which I think is roughly like a 35% increase, something like that. But that does seem a little bit high. Again, you could tweak that number. These are just numbers that I put just to put. Special 3 is going to power lock and stun the opponent for 3 seconds. Now, the thought process behind this is early on, when you're not ramped up, you can throw the special 3 to power lock and stun the opponent. So after the special 3, you can just keep hitting in, and really build that combo meter up relatively safely. Again, that could be changed, but that's just the way that my thought process and stuff like that was working. So basically, the way that he works is you ramp up his combo meter, throw a lot of specials, do a lot of special attack damage, while increasing your utility and damage output throughout the whole time. I feel like he's fairly well balanced, and the reason that I stopped the momentum charges at 500 is because if you capped it at 999, starting every fight with 1,000 prowess of a passive prowess that can be spammed seems like it could get really out of hand really quickly. Doing it at 500 instead isn't as crazy. It's literally half of that, and you can reach 500% prowess on multiple characters relatively easily and relatively consistently. Characters like Magneto and Sunspot. So that 500 number, while it is high, it's not the highest in the game, I don't think. And again, you really have to build up to that over the series of a quest. You can't do that in like a single fight unless you're doing something long form like Abyss. Now that's going to be it for his base kit, his base abilities, and all of that. Next, we are going to do the synergies. So the first one that I have is called the Turtle and the Hare, which is going to be with Quicksilver and Aegon. Now the way that these are going to work is kind of going to be inverses of each other. So Aegon, at a base level, he kind of really sucks early on in the quest because it takes so long to ramp him up, but he's really strong at the end of the quest because he's ramped up and he has all these crazy abilities. So what this synergy would do is his combo meter is doubled at the end of fight, but his persistent charges are capped at 300. Now what this means is that it'll require less fights to ramp him up, so he can get to that pretty moderate level of crit rate and abilities and stuff like that. And you can still go past the 300, but you're never going to start above 300. So it'll make it so that earlier on in the quest he ramps up really quickly. He's going to be more useful earlier on in the quest, but later on he's going to be less effective because he's going to start at a lesser ability, so a lot of his, or a lesser combo, so a lot of his abilities are going to be kind of gated off. Now Quicksilver, on the other hand, the synergy that he has is his combo is reduced by half at the end of the fight, but all his hits count for 2 in the combo meter. So basically this means in the fight he can gain a lot more momentum charges. He can gain a lot more combo meter to really bump up his damage in that fight. However, he doesn't take that power into the next fight. So it kind of slows down his long-term ramping up for a quicker, stronger initial fight. Like the fight itself are going to be quicker, but the ramp up is going to be longer. The next synergy is going to be the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. It's kind of a play on, you know, the saying about fathers and sons or mothers and daughters. So this is going to be about Quicksilver, Magneto Red, Magneto White, and Groot. So for Quicksilver, it says when fighting hashtag metal champions gain 1000 critical rating. So what this means is just fighting against metal characters, he's just going to do more damage. Logically, the way that I thought of it is if he has the time to move quick enough to quickly take out and hit vital parts of a machine, he'll be able to hit the critical points a lot more easily, a lot more consistently. So that's just kind of how I rationalize that in my head, I guess. Magneto Red, when fighting hashtag metal champions, apply a shock instead of a bleed to armor break immune champions. What this would do is in those nodes where champions are armor break immune, or against those fights where champions are auto break immune, kind of similar to Nimrod, although I think Nimrod might still stop this ability. He can, instead of applying bleeds, he can apply shocks, which there's a lot less champions that are immune to shock, so that it just hits a larger pool in those areas where that node kind of stops you. Magneto White says when fighting hashtag metal champions, gain 10% attack per prowess buff. What this does is kind of cover his one weakness. Magneto White is a great support character, a great character just in general. He's very simple, very easy to use, but very effective. However, his damage is a little bit lacking. So what this does is just give him more damage. It balances him out and it fills his one weak spot. Now Groot, the reason that he's in here is because it says the apple doesn't far fall from the tree. Tree equals Groot. And Groot is a character that I think is really cool and has a really cool mechanic and a really cool interaction in the way that his lore and stuff and his powers actually work. However, it only works when getting hit. So Groot at a base level gains something called pacifism charges whenever he gets critically hit. Every time he gains a pacifism charge, he has a chance to convert those pacifism charges into a cruelty, fury, and physical resistance buff. Not or, but and. Per pacifism that gets shrugged off. So if you had a way to gain these as you're attacking, Groot would actually be a very competitive champion in my opinion, because the furies can stack up fairly quickly and they're fairly potent. You'd be surprised how much damage he can actually do if you can get that triggered. The thing is, currently in the game, to trigger it, you basically have to get yourself nearly killed. So what the synergy does is gives him a 25% chance to gain a pacifism charge whenever he's attacking. Quick fix, a very quick way to fix Groot, which probably going to get its own video sometime in the future. But yeah, that's going to be it for that synergy. And his last synergy is going to be Blood Runs Deep, which is going to be a family synergy between Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch Sigil, Magneto, and Magneto White. What this is going to do is give 5% offensive combat power rate per synergy member on the team. So if you have all 5 of these synergy members on the same team, they're all going to gain 25% offensive combat power rate, because they gain 5 per each. If you only have 2, they'll each have 10% increased offensive combat power rate, so on and so forth. You understand the math. That is going to be it for Quicksilver. I tried to make this video as short as possible. It's still relatively long. Thank you guys for watching along. If you did watch this far, I really appreciate it. If you have any critiques, any champions that you want to see in future videos, please let me know in the comments below or reach out to me on Discord. But no matter what, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you for everybody that hits the thumbs up, for everybody that hits the thumbs down, for everybody that comments, and everybody that subscribes. But even if you don't subscribe or do any of those other things, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel in any way. It really does mean the world to me. But hope you guys have a wonderful new year. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.